Okay, while that pilot's drying, I'm going to jump down onto this, the wing section. I need to put this in here and put the two wings on. That way round, obviously, Alan. There we go. Again, let me just check this out. Is there? No, that's all right. Somebody said the other day, I was just thinking about this last night. Why do they put the separation of the ailerons on the top end of the wings? Why don't they put them on the bottom end where you can fill them up if you need to? But these fit perfectly in here, and they leave a nice gap, so that's going to work well this time. But I have seen some where they've got huge gaps, and they've had to file off this wing here to get this in to fit the aileron on the bottom wing. It can be awkward. It can be very awkward. So we'll get on with this now, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, here's a picture of the undercarriage wheel well. As you see, I've painted the wires up and given it a coat of ink wash, and I think it's come up really good. Now just for button it onto the bottom of the wings and getting the top wings fitted. Oh, right, now then, didn't take me long to fit the wings together, and there you can see the undercarriage in there. The wheel wells are actually here in there now, and they fell together as normal. Now I'll put this together. I've clipped it in here. There is only one piece. Hang on, where is it? There's only one piece that doesn't fit on this kit so far, and that's this piece just here. It's got a slight gap around here. The large hole is my fault. That large hole is my fault. It's a large, well, it's partly the Airfix fault as well. There's a large attachment point here, and in cutting it down and sanding it down, I sanded it a little bit too much. It's my own fault, but then again, I'm going to fill it anyway because there's a bit of a gap there. Not much of one, as you can see. There's not much of a gap there at all. Okay, we've got some panel lines to put back in. Minute bits. They finished just before the joints. This here is a 72 scale panel line cutter. It'll be easy to put this in and just put these back now, because it is only just like ½ millimetre, and the panel lines will be back in there again. Gotta sand this down, but honestly there isn't much to sand down. It feels smooth. I might have to put some primer on this to see the joints, see if there's anything wrong with the joints. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this on for a while, make sure everything's 100% dry, and I've got to go out and do some shopping. So when I come back, I'll take this off and see what I can do. Now, previously the videos have been a bit yellow. I thought it was my lights. It may be the table. So what I've done is I put a white back in here. Hopefully this will sort the problem out. If it doesn't, I'll have to find some other way of doing a video in. Well, I've done a little bit of spraying, and I found one problem, which I'll tell you in a minute. First is I've done the tape on the fuselage, and I've given it an unfair test. I lightly sanded off the joint just to take the little bit of squeeze out of the glue off. Nothing more. Very light sanding, and sprayed it silver. I can just, and I mean just, see the line here, on here where the seam is, and there's nothing on here, and just at the back here there's a bit of a seam, just this bit here, that's all. The rest no seam. The front no seam. Excuse me, let's put it there. If I was doing a metal coat finish, I would have to just sort them out, but I don't need to. Okay, problem with the wing. Top wing, fine, fits the fuselage perfectly. Bottom wing, where the bottom wing joins the top wing, and the top wing's got the wingtip on it, that's lower than this wing, and it won't go down any further. So I've had to fill both the wing tips with some putty to alleviate the problem. I'll have to sand this back when it's dry. I've got to leave that. Disappointment, really is. You know, mind you, I'm surprised I've got away with just this bit of filler. Yeah, well, I'm going to get a cup of coffee. I've had enough. We'll let this filler dry and come back to it with some fresh eyes. Okay, I've sanded off the tips now, and they seem to have worked. That it's not too bad at all. Actually, I've just seen a little lump there, but I'll have to get off. But apart from that, it seems that what we actually have here isn't a difference in the plastic as such. So we say it's more of a it's more like it's a depression. Sorry, I'm out of shot, aren't I? It's more like a depression rather than it's like the plastic sunk at these 2 points. I know somebody might say, why didn't I take some off of this so it went down further? Trouble with that was it would have raised this side up, and that you do not want to do. So because this side, the top surface is all flush. It was just this bottom piece here, and as you can see here, I think you can see there's sort of a depression in this. It looks like a cooling where the plastic cooled off a bit slower. It's sunk in the middle. I'm just fettling a little bit because I'm not quite happy with certain places. I don't want to sand too much here because I've got some sanding to do around here as well. Filling and sanding to do around there as well. There we are. That's it. I'm not put it down. Don't touch it anymore. This is done. So next thing is to put these two together, get them glued up. So that's my next job. Right, it might take a bit of filler, but the glue has actually filled that gap up on there as well. And remember, this is 70 seconds, so you've seen it right up close. What's that brush there? I can't remember what that one is. This is a 00 brush. You can see how small it is, but the glue has actually filled that up. I may have to put some filler in there. I may not. Hopefully that I will not need to put that filler in there. Okay, so everything's on there. It looks to be all nice and straight and everything, so leave that to dry, go make some dinner. This door's in now. Now that'll keep all the spray and that out of the wheel wells, so they'll be kept nice and clean. It also shows up that there's a bit on the wheel wells that come through here. Now you would need to paint this like sky, and I'm looking at it. Do I need? No, I don't need. These two doors actually glue onto this piece as well, so it'll be better to have it like this and spray the whole thing up. Really liking this, even though that, you know, a bit disappointment with the wingtips, but nothing really. Moaning at niggling little things. You know what it's like. If it's good, you've got to find something bad with it. I'll just show you the bloke so far. Also show you the bloke so far. I've got this khaki brown, light brown tunic on him at the moment, and trousers. He's got to be a lightened around the top end of here, because the one I've seen, it looks like it used to be white, but because of all the flying hours he's put in, it's sort of like a cream at the top here, and then it fades into this brown. So I want to do it that way. Cleaned up these parts, ready to go on as soon as it's dried. Give it a little bit longer now. I've started to put the prop together. It's a bit of an unusual way of putting a prop together. Having a look at it, what you have is the basic back plate for the spinner, the prop, and then the spinner goes over the top. But that's not too unusual. That's fine. However, this time what they ask you to do, I don't know whether it will work or not, so we'll have to try it, is part C17 goes in here. Now, why they've got this little sort of piston end sort of thing on it here, and it is quite floppy in here. It's not a tight fit. Actually, that end needs tidying up. Let me just do that while I remember it. You never know. And then the back plate goes on here. And it leaves very little for the propeller to go. That gets stuck onto there. Yes, you're right. Yes, so there is a bit of space here. So let's try this. Okay, that should turn. My fingers are too big. Get off here. There is quite a wobble on that there, and it does seem to work, although it's still a bit wet. But how tight is this in here? It's not. So I'm not liking that one bit. Yeah, other people may like it. I don't. I'm taking that off of there. Actually, some of the glue's gone up inside. So that's. And I only put a small drop on there, and it's gone up inside there. Right. This knobble at the end is being cut off. There we are. And I'm going back to the old way of doing things, and that is, I may even replace this because it's a bit sloppy inside there. And it's very sloppy inside there. The pin on the plan looks square, but when I took the pin off, it's actually tapered. So I'm leaving that in there as per normal. And this piece here, I'm going to glue into the end. This piece here, I'm going to glue into the end of here. I'm not worried about the prop spinning. What I might do is just replace that because this actually gets glued in here anyway. Push that in there, we go. And just have it push in fit there, like, as I do with all my other aircraft. Because if I ever do move, don't like that end in there. It's too loose. There's another thing wrong with it. See, we find perfection, and we have to find ways to say, oh, it's rubbish. You know, they could have done that bit better. You know it's right. You know it's right. Just square that up. There we go. I wasn't very happy with that. It was a bit loose. The fit was a bit loose, and doing it this way, I'll get a better fit on everything. There. You shouldn't have to do both sides. It will just, capillary action will take care of it. And oh, excuse me, there we have them on there. Can I get it? I can't really get a good sight on these ones, but they are level. The wings have been glued on. I put the undercarriage doors on. I put the tailplane stabilisers on. I put the rudder on. I could have positioned it, but I've left it straight. It's sitting on the ground, and I am uncertain of exactly what I'm going to be doing with this. Okay, last bit I'm doing is I'm going to pop this decking back here. Now, it's on the ground. The guns aren't being used, so it's raised. And that's the one I'm putting on here. I'll put that across there. There we go. There's that bit in. So, as you've seen, I've done the tailplane, the rudder, the stabilisers and the rudder. I've glued the wings on. I've put the undercarriage doors in. I've done the propeller. Swapping that round has made a big difference to the propeller. It now fits perfectly, whereas before, I don't know why they had a taper on the tree, but they did. And putting it round the other way means that it now fits the hole nicely, as you can see here, and you can spin it as well. That'll be it for today, and then Friday, undercarriage on.